I have a market event in about 2 months where I will be selling my art, so I need to get ready for that. So I figured you can follow along with this little orange study that I'm doing today. I'll talk through what I'm doing and what colors I'm using if you want to paint along. Let me know in the comments how yours turned out if you did it. Since I'll be making some items that will need to go to the printers, I really need to get those done this week. I want to do a collection of greeting cards, and I was thinking of doing a fruit collection. I'm still debating whether to put sayings on the inside or leave them blank, but for now I have to do the watercolor art for the covers and envelope liners. So my first step is to draw a loose sketch. I have some fake orange stems, a sketchbook with plein air references that I painted and drew, and a few printed pictures for reference. It doesn't have to be, detailed, just something loose to guide you with. The colors that I used in this little picture were permanent yellow deep, which I call yellow, permanent yellow orange, which I call light orange, vermilion hue, which I call the dark orange, permanent green number 1, which I'll call the light green, sap green, and permanent violet, which I will call purple in this video. So first I wet the area of the orange where I wanted the lightest colors to go. I'm being careful to leave a spot in the middle where the light is reflecting. And I come in with my light orange and I do a flat wash all around the orange. I'm avoiding where the leaf is laid across the orange and the spot where the light is hitting it. Next, I am going to bring in some of that darker orange, and I'm going to start laying down the shadows while the bottom layer is still wet, and kind of create the shadows. Then I will take some of the light yellow and I will start smoothing in the transition between the orange and the light color. I do another layer of the light orange across the whole image, including where I laid in the dark color. And then I will darken up those shadows just a little bit more. As this is drying, I'm adding more and more color and reducing the amount of water that I'm using. Then, while it's still wet, I'll drop in a little bit of this purple color. I ended up dropping a little too much, so I just take it back with a clean wet brush, and I'll get the handy dandy hair dryer that I only ever use for watercolors. I don't think I've ever used this for my hair, maybe once or twice. And I will dry it fully. And then I'll come in and I'll start laying down some of those shadows a little bit darker. And I will give it another wash of light. And I'm just working back and forth with these layers. I'm trying to build it up so that it has a bit of texture to the surface of the orange and giving it a bit of depth. I'm bringing out that yellow a bit more to match the color of the orange so that it's not such a harsh transition. And I blend it in, and now I'm gonna take that purple and add in my shadow underneath the orange. And I just did a simple wash of that. Again, I'm just placing in some of those darker shadows around the stem, on the outside of the orange, where the light hits. And my fake orange stems fell over, so I threw them in the way of the light, which is horrible for this video. But now I'm just going to move on to the leaves. I do the same thing. I have a wetter wash here, And I'm just laying in a very light green. It's very watered down, just enough to give me a pigment base. And it matches the lightest color from my reference photos. Then I will come in with the sap green, and I'll start adding some of those darker colors and start building up those shadows. This bottom layer, because it was so watery, is still a bit damp, and I use that to kind of help blend it in so that I don't have harsh lines across these leaves. When I come back later, I'll make more definition. And I'm just working back and forth between the darker spots and the lighter spots. As I bring up those darks, I see that I need to bring up the lighter colors also in some areas. And as my layers get deeper and deeper, I tend to use less and less water. Make a little bit of a drier wash. Now I'm starting to lay in my shadows on my leaves and my stems, and making sure that I'm not covering up those spots where the lights are hitting. Now I'm coming in and just adding those lighter colors to the leaves and the stem. And I'll just keep working back and forth like that. I try to keep in mind where my light source is coming from. That is something I still work on because I will forget to keep that in mind when I am painting. And finally, I'm going to come back to that shadow. This is just a dry application with thicker purple. And I see that it's a little bit too dark. So I come back in with a clean brush with some water, and I just run it along the bottom edge of that purple to help it seep out some of that color. And there's my orange. Hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a good day. See you later. Bye.